Hello everybody, welcome to episode 22 here in the EMC to the Sky playthrough. I have done some work in between episodes and I've gotten our power up to a crazy level. So we have finished this quest for EMC. This is just one telling us that we can use Dragon Egg Seeds to get more resources out of Tier 3. And that has finished out Tier 3 for us. So we can take our Tier 3 mini catalysts as our reward. And we'll just put buy EMC for the system. I set up a second network, the Dragon Eggs network. Each of these I have set to 152,000 because that is what we are using at full capacity. So even if I set it at 200,000, it's going to stay at 152. And it doesn't matter now that we have our separate network. I was trying to limit it so that we weren't using too much power when we were using the same network as everything else. I doubled up the crafters because one just wasn't keeping pace. And if we look in here now and we go to Dragon Essence, you can see as soon as we get it in, it's being crafted into Dragon Eggs. And we are generating, it fluctuates, but we're generating right around 5-6 million EMC per second, which the best one that we had before was 1843.2 EMC per second from this machine. And this one was 691.2 EMC per second, which is what we got from this machine. It's pretty impressive. I would put a sign down, but I think if I put the sign down, I would just say a buttload and let it be. So this is using the dark matter pedestal. Everything's running as fast as possible. And this is chunk loaded. So it will just keep running. No matter where we go, we'll have a ton of EMC being generated, which is good. We're probably going to have to increase it even faster later on, but for now, it should get us where we need to go. If we were to look at our Project E quest line, which we will do in just a second, I want to get headed over towards our power plant. I just want to show you what I did to set this up and the fact that we can expand even further with very little problem. We now have a pretty crazy amount of power using these systems. So I just made it so that there's 3 on that side, 3 on this side. They're all connected to the Dragon Egg network. I can expand these out and fill this entire room with reactors if I want to. Each one generates about 86,000 FE per tick. Sometimes it drops down to 79,000 depending on demand. As soon as it gets low enough that it needs to kick back on, it goes back up to 87,000. So it fluctuates between. But I'm just going to say 80,000 is what we generate from these reactors. And that's with all the things being pumped in. I think maybe if I put dry ice in here, it would go a little higher. But I don't know that that's necessary to do because I can just keep adding. Right now, these 6 reactors are making 480,000 FE per tick. I could install 6 more in almost no time. So I don't think there's anything that we need to do in order to increase our power other than building more when we have other things that need boatloads of power. Eventually we'll get to Draconic. That's going to need even more power, I believe, but we'll use Draconic power systems when we get to that. For now, let's take a look at our quest book. So like I said, we finished that. Chapter 1 is now done. Chapter 2, we're still working on Project E. So if we go in here and we look at Project E, for our fuels, Project E, for our fuels, the highest we got was we made the white fuel. I did kind of want to make these fuel blocks just so that I could say I had them, but we're done with the fuel pretty much. The matter is kind of the same thing. We're at yellow. To make orange, we need 3 yellow matters, which is 36 or 38.19 billion. And we're at 26.3, so we're getting there. You can see it's going up it's still slow, but it's a lot faster than it was, and we'll get there. So we have that to work on. And then we just have to finish these 3 and then make the EMC links out of each of them. The highest tier, the final EMC link, is a little more complicated. We have to do some things with the stars. So let's take a look at the stars in here. So the star shard is made from colossal stars, which works our way all the way down. And so as far as stars that we have made the Klein star Ein. What these do is basically we combine 4 to make the next tier, and then they're EMCable. So we just have to craft them. So what we want to do is take 4 of these. That's going to make 1 of these. And then we just repeat that process the whole way through until we get to the top. So I'm going to work my way through making these, and then we will see how far we can get and see if we can get all the way to the final one right now. So as far as we were able to make it was the Magnum Star Spear. This one right here. That can be crafted into the Omega, which then can be crafted all the way through the Colossal, up to the Colossal Star Omega, which is then combined with another star, 4 of them with another star, to make 1 final star shard, which is then combined, 4 of them, with a chaos shard to make a final star. Final star is one of our goals in this pack in the end game, because there are lots of different things that we need to craft, and a lot of those things require us to get to the point where we make it to the end game. It's going to be a pretty crazy ride to get some of these things, because we need to just set up massive farms to do them. So I think that even though we're more than halfway through the quest book, I don't think we're anywhere close to halfway through the game, because these things are going to take huge amounts of time. I don't know if it's going to take a huge amount of time on camera. It might just be a huge amount of time for me. We shall see. So Project D, we still need a lot more EMC is where we're at right now. We may have to look into doing more EMC, especially for this kind of setup, because to make the final star, we need 4 final star shards and a chaos shard. The chaos shard's 128 million once we get one. Not a big deal. We just have to kill the chaos dragon, which is surprisingly the easiest part of this process. The final star shards are made with 4 colossal star omegas and a nether star. We have infinite nether stars, but these are 281.47 trillion EMC. And we need 4 of them to make this. And this is not EMCable, which means we actually need to have 4 of these to make each one of these. So we need to have 16 of these. So 16 times 281.47 trillion. Let me do the math. Yep, that's officially a buttload of EMC. So we'll have to get there eventually. But we're not there yet. Not at 6 million EMC per tick or per second. So we can move on from Project D because we can't do anything more with there. Botania is our next task. So the time in a bottle is what I want to work on today. So let's go over to our Botania area, which is the greenhouse behind our new house over here. And we're going to work on just doing some crafting using Botania and our runic altar. We have several things we need to do in Botania. The first of which is very easy. We put in those items, we give it a bunch of FE, and it will create for us the Blacker Lotus. Blacker Lotus is not EMCable, so we'd have to set up a crafting recipe to craft this. But essentially, a Blacker Lotus is a physical form of mana. I think that there's other things it does, but that's what I've always used it for in a pack like this. If you can get it set up to autocraft, it's the simple way to add mana to mana pools and things like that. That is crafting. We also need to make our terrestrial agglomeration plate. It says we'll need this in order to get Terra Steel through Botania or to get a Terra Steel bee through block mutation with resourceful bees. So this requires runes. It requires mana steel and lapis. The mana steel is not too hard to get. The runes are a little more difficult. The time in a bottle, which is our other project, also requires runes. And I've marked all the different runes so I know which ones I need. But we basically need all of them because the winter, autumn, summer, and spring, each one requires, this one's water and earth and so forth. They all use the basic runes So we need to have a couple of each of the basic runes to make all of them. So, go see if our Blacker Lotus got done. Should have. We can take that, put it in our inventory. So what we could do is just put this in a mana pool, and it turns into mana. I don't really need that right now because our mana is automatically being stocked up by this system. We're not even dropping coal out because our redstone shuts it off. So that's okay. We can use it for that. We can automate that if we need to later on. The runes, let's get started with those. So Rune of Earth, we need mana powder, mana steel ingots. So mana powder is made with redstone dust, sugar, lots of different things. Any of them will be fine because we have them all EMC'd. So let's grab some redstone dust. And I think I'm just going to try to throw an entire stack on. I think we'll have enough mana that will work. Now we have ourselves a stack of mana steel powder. For the mana steel ingots, same thing, except this time we're using iron. Oops. You can see we're using up quite a bit of mana, but our system's automatically restocking. And if we wanted to, I think we could throw this in there. It instantly gets a bunch of mana. Not a huge amount, but we got some. So there we go. Next thing we need for the Rune of Earth. We need a brown mushroom, block of coal, and stone. So, block of coal, easy. Got it. Stone is also easy. We got it. I'm not sure how we get the mushroom. I don't know if we already have gotten mushrooms. We have one. I don't know that I want to use the last one unless I know how we can make them. Oh, we can craft them this way. We can also craft them with nature and dirt essences. Or we could put them in here. Does it grow on... How would we craft podzol? Podzol could be made that way. It could also be made this way. I think it might be worth our while to make some essences here so that we could have them. Just to make them. So let's take a look and see what these would require. So to make dirt seeds, it's just dirt. That's very easy. And to make nature, it is a nature agglomerato. Oh, we have all those things too. So I think we can make those. For now, I'm just going to use this one up because we can make more really easily. And I want to make one Rune of Earth while we're here doing this. So we have this item, this item, this item, and then these two. And I believe all we have to do is put these items in. And it says we need to... Well, we got to let the mana go up. It's using a good bit. We have it. Okay, and then we need a living stone and our wand. So let's grab some living stone and grab our wand of the forest. So we'll do, actually, I think we can right click and then right click with this. There we go. We got 2 runes of earth. So the rest of these runes are pretty much the same. Rune of air, now we need string, feather, carpet. Rune of fire is nether wart, gunpowder, nether brick. And Rune of water is a fishing rod, sugarcane, and sugar. Fishing rod we don't have, but we can easily craft. So I'm going to take some time to go through and craft a bunch of these, and then we'll see what we need for the more advanced ones. If there's anything that is very difficult, I will show you how we're going to do it. And then we have to determine whether or not it's worthwhile for us to try to automate this process, or if we're just going to make them. I think I'm going to stick with just making them for now. If we get to the point where we're using them a lot, we can automate them later, but I'm really happy to just make what we need to move on from Botania. All right, we have gotten one of our items ready to go. So we need a clock, and then we made one of each of the seasonal runes. And that is going to require a bunch of mana. And then once we have it, we just need a living rock and a wand, and we will get our time in a bottle. And there we go. We get the runes back when we do this, which is really nice. Like, basically, we've made them, and now we can use them again. So that finishes out our time in a bottle. The time in a bottle is an object, and I discussed this a little bit. You just keep it in your inventory, and it slowly builds up time. And then when you need it to need something to go faster, you can right-click it with the time in a bottle. I think we need to have a block that ticks. So we think it's something we could demonstrate it with really easily. We'd probably do it with this. So let's do... let's craft some of these. And then when we right-click with this, do you see how fast that went? It used up the stored time that we had in the time in a bottle to accelerate that block to make it operate faster for a short period of time. So this is the kind of thing you want to keep in your inventory all the time, and then you use it when you do it. If you sit it in a chest or you sit it in your storage, it won't accumulate time. It just accumulates time in your inventory. And so it's kind of like you're accumulating the time where you're standing around trying to figure out what to do, and then when you're ready to do it, you can just accelerate through stuff. Pretty fancy, and it's a nice thing to have. Let's do our Terra Steel agglomeration plate. So this requires fire, water, earth, mana, and air. So mana we haven't made yet. That requires 5 mana steel ingots and a mana pearl. Mana steel ingots we have. Mana pearl is made by taking an ender pearl and putting it into our mana, just like we did with the iron and things like that. So let's look at this again one more time just to make sure I have this right. We need a rune of mana. Just a few seconds of mana later, and we are able to craft a rune of mana. So now, to craft this, we need 3 lapis lazuli blocks and a block of mana steel. We already have enough mana steel to craft that. And then the lapis is already something that we have. Of course, spelling it right helps. But we already have EMC. So to craft it, this is this is actually a crafting recipe. So we can actually go in here. Oops. Go in here and it doesn't want to select it. Fine. We'll do this, this, and then it is water, earth, fire, air. Water, earth, fire, air. There we go. That has completed our Botania chapter. So let's check out our reward for that. Ooh, we get a whole bunch of runes, some mana steel, and a mana steel bee spawn. I actually had a brief crash after the Botania stuff was over because the game crashed on me. So I had a break, and I am now getting ready to figure out what to do for the last 10 minutes of this episode. We are pretty much set to continue on in the next episode to finish out Chapter 2 by doing Create. Project E, we are waiting for more EMC. I am up to 41 billion already, so it's going up quick. But if we look at Project E stuff, like orange matter, we need 38 billion for the yellow matter, plus we need another 6 for these. So we need like 44 to move to orange matter. And then when we get to the higher stuff that we're just trying to finish out, like the fading matter, we need like 582 billion EMC to make it. So it's going to be a while before we get that. We're getting there, but we can also expand our production if we want. But I think that what I want to focus on is kind of moving some of this stuff to new location. And I might not necessarily get a lot of it moved, but I think I'm going to start planning it out. This system over here, there's no reason to take it down because it's still generating power. But I think I'm going to move it so that it's all connected to the Flux network and just leave it going. And this is outdated tech now, but it's still cool to have a little bit of power coming from it and just leave it there as what we have done in the past. So we need some flux plugs. We're going to run out of stuff here for this pretty soon. We got what we need for now. Let's take this off and put a plug there and there. Set this to our main network. And then we're going to disconnect all of these lines. And this line here. All unnecessary. So now those are all setting to pump out into our flux plug network. So we can get this off. And then what we have to do is just figure out if there's anything over here that's not getting power now because of that. So let's break this line going through here. This is the line that went up to our system at the top. And up here, I believe, yeah, we put a plug on there. This one is not getting power, but it's for the chargers. And these can actually get, this can actually get taken away. Because now anything in my inventory automatically gets charged. So we can actually put these back in. This energy cell can also go back in because we don't need the second one anymore. Network receiver. So this is getting power. I think that we were having trouble with this power flow here, so we moved this. Let's just take this and put it on here directly. And is this not... So it's giving power, but I don't think it was giving enough power to this. So let's just take this off. We don't need to have a buffer here anymore. We can grab some spruce planks, fix this floor up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Go back down. We'll take a look and follow that line some more. So this is still holding power. Okay, so if we keep following this line, this is sending power out. How is this getting its power? Oh, I think it just doesn't, it's not needing the power because this system has caught up. So I think I'm going to close this off. I think we're going to remove this whole system and build it somewhere new. Because now that we have the higher level power pots, I don't need it as big in order to keep it stocked up with this. I guess we could leave it here and I could just swap out some of those power pots for different ones. That might work well. Let's disconnect this power line, which means we can take this off. Lots and lots of power lines everywhere. You know, I guess I could just mainline the power line. Then we just go to where it stopped. And then this is another charger, which we do not need anymore. And then carved stone. Do I have any more of that? That'll do. So this system, how is this getting power? Oh, this isn't getting power because it's connected through the cable. What I do want to do, however, is change this out to a network transmitter and receiver. So we do receiver here. I'll have a transmitter at the other side, and we're going to need a card. So what we're going to do is network receiver will go right here. We will assign this card. So now if we look, this card is assigned to 115, 116, 14, which is right there. And then if we go back over here, we can add our network transmitter, and we can put this in. So it's transmitting now. And that means that we can remove that old line that went all the way over there. Just like we did with the power one, I can just break it here. I can mainline the rest of it. It's gonna take a while. Fine. Oh, and it didn't even work. Oh, because my tool's broken. That's why it was taking too long. Okay, back to repair our tool. Actually, we have repair kits. Yeah. Okay, so now this is, I think we have a connection over here that we still need, because this is going upstairs. So we'll leave that for now. But that means that this, even though we don't have power connected to this, this is still powered because that network receiver, this cable, oh yeah, this cable is the one that goes upstairs. So that's fine. But this network receiver is actually transmitting power over the network. So it's the network transmitter and receivers are basically what did I'll put the receiver under here. The network receiver and the transmitter that it's connected to, it's like they're quantumly entangled, so they are the same spot. So it's as though this system is directly connected to that system, if that makes any sense. Let's put this stuff away. We've already made good progress with that. Let's go back downstairs and see what else we have. We'll just do a little bit more cleanup. I think that the main thing we need to work on, and probably focus a good bit of an episode on doing this, is moving all of the seeds into a proper place. And the main thing with it is now that we have these power pots, we also have infinite storage, which means instead of storing it like this, I can just connect these power pots to the refined storage network so that we have it. And we can also tick accelerate these using the watch of flowing time. So we should design these, instead of being in rows like this so that we can access the drawers, we should design this in a way where we can optimize the amount of seeds that we can fit into an area that is being accelerated by the watch of flowing time. And that way we can just mass produce all of these essences for whatever purpose we need. And so I think that I need to take some time and go through and figure out which ones of these are we're growing because we need them, like these here, and which ones we were growing because we needed them to make the things for the crystals for our resource generators. So the resource generators we don't really need anymore because they're inefficient ways to make EMC. So I think these seeds we can just decommission all of these, take them out, and then we'll focus on seeds for crops that we actually need and get them set up in a way where we can super accelerate them so we can get large amounts of stuff. And that's going to mean looking into the end game. And so let's do that right now together. When we get to, let's start with this one, for example, a tier 9001 resource generator. We're going to need a certain amount of these crystals, and all of these things to craft in an ultimate crafting table or an elite crafting table. So we should figure out how many of these crystals we need for that so that we can get to this. And then these are the creative items that we want to make. So let's just take a look at one of them. Oh, so these all use a crazy amount of stars. So yeah, we definitely are going to have to set up huge amounts of EMC production, because each one of these represents, remember, the final star is 4 of the final star shards. And that means that each of these is 4 of these. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I think I did the math wrong there. 6, 8, 10, just 20. It's 20 of these, but then it's also 13 of these. So that's 18 of the final stars, or 72 of the final star shards, which require 4 of the colossal star omegas. So that's 288 plus 4, 292 of the Klein star omegas. And at 281 trillion, that's just crazy how much we need to make that. It's yeah, let's do the math. It is a huge amount, a butt ton. We're gonna be making EMC for quite a while. So I think we need to work on finding better ways to generate EMC and scaling it up to the big time. And I do think that the dragon seeds are a really good way to do it, because we are making 5 million with just that small system. If we scale that up to a huge degree and process things even faster, we can get to the point where we're making trillions of EMC using that. But for now, I think that what we're going to do is just call it here. I'm going to work off camera to maybe move some of these seeds around to get rid of the ones that we don't need. In the next episode, we're going to take a break from the EMC stuff, and we're going to work out the create chapter and maybe work on some of the things to finish out tier 3 here. It looks like all we need is to make Phantom Membrane and the Dragon Head. And then we're into the EMC endgame, where we just need to start making huge amounts of EMC in order to finish out this pack. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.